Just take their stake in what I make and break it. Maybe lay it on a plate, maybe shoot it out in space to watch it die. Either way, I ain't trying to lie.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media world. So glad to be hosting another episode of this great show here with my co-host and presenter, Pedro Garcia, the crypto chart analyst. Pedro, what is happening today?
Not much, man. It was really interesting. I came on live or came on here, and all of a sudden I heard Tom just saying, I mean, there's this old cartoon of this guy chasing these Smurfs. And
Pedro, that was supposed to be a 3-word answer.
Oh, well, I heard.
Great, Tom. How are you?
Great, Tom. I heard you cursing up a storm this morning.
Yeah, I screwed up the show again this morning. Today was technical difficulties day, not technical Tuesday. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it is July 17th, 2025. Another interesting day here in the crypto world for sure. MicroStrategy pumping at its all-time high. Michael Saylor's bet is paying off with the pumping. Only a few weeks ago, we were doubting him, talking about deleveraging his company, going bankrupt, all the horrible things. This week, he's sitting counting the hundies in the tune of a couple of $100 billion. Meanwhile, BTC is up near its highs, but it's consolidating right now, and Bitcoin dominance has dipped a bit. What does this mean? Altcoins starting to move. Pedro's gonna be talking about that today. Blah, 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 blah. That was all of my notes, Pedro. But anyway, so there's a lot to talk about today. Will we see Bitcoin hit some new highs today, or will we see it consolidate a little bit and let those altcoins run? We shall see, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for the morning screw up here. We'll just give the old, hey, why is that in the center of this thing? Well. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Pedro Garcia, what is happening over here?
Not much. Life is good, man. I just I'm trying to pull up that beautiful picture that you took of me. Speaking about what's up?
Ladies and gentlemen, while Pedro was going over the meme coins yesterday, I like to tweet out to those communities, hey, we're covering your coin and all this type of stuff, and let them come view the thing. Pumps up the views for the show. And I don't always grab the best pictures of Pedro because he's in the middle of talking. I, on the other hand, know when the screenshot's going to be taken. So
he's like this.
So I can be like, hello, my name's Suave Striking here. And Pedro's like this. It's the hands. What do we do with the hands?
What do you do with the hands? Dude, what do I do with the hands? What do I do with the hands? What's going on here? It's great. It's absolutely fantastically great. Good to have every one of you guys here. Enough with our jibber jabbering. Let's go into the freaking charts here and see what's going on. So we saw it kind of pull back down to that 1800, what we were kind of talking about. I do think that we're going to see this thing pump over the weekend. Literally just because I wanted to, and it's going to do it. No, I'm just joking.
Pedro says it will do it.
But looking at it, we are seeing a kind of bit of a slowdown here. Yesterday really wasn't the best. Yesterday wasn't really the best volume. I thought the volume should step back in. Unfortunately, we did not. So we're kind of just chilling here. We might see a bit of a pullback here. Down. I thought we would see this more towards the middle of the week, like Tuesday or Wednesday, but we might come back down to this lower level here of that 112 that we were talking about at the beginning of the week. Again, this was like Tuesday. I thought we'd maybe hit that and see it come back up to create the demand wick. So it kind of just stagnant here. We'll see what's up. There's a few little plays that we can take off of this though. Would be the breakout. Once the breakout gets above that 120 area, wait for a pullback and then just get in on it. It looks something like this right here. You can see that it's just kind of consolidating here over the last few days. Nothing really substantial when it comes to the volume, but ultimately it's just kind of building a position here. And so right now we're just kind of waiting. So what I would expect it to see is whether it comes back down to this level here and then comes back up and then bounces here to go up is kind of what I'm expecting. I thought we were going to see this more early on in the week, but not so much now. So right now we're just chilling. So kind of expected to see.
Hey, no drawing big lines down like that.
Oh, you are right. Don't worry. It's not going to stay that way. Right here, dude. Right. Boom. And then we see it. Boom. And then we see it do this right here. Boom.
Yeah, it's behind your picture now. But, you know, there's a way to draw those arrows on TradingView, and I can't figure out how to do it. I mean, and to connect them. Boop, 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 boop. I've been clicking the buttons, and I can't.
Maybe you have to pay for the add-on for it. Might be.
All right. Who knows?
Yep. But basically, boom, 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 boom is what I'm expecting here. Let's go BTC. It's in a nutshell. I thought we were going to see a bit of a sell-off early on in the week. As you all saw, we saw a bit of a pump and then come back down, or pump and then a consolidation. So I'm really kind of expecting to see it kind of pretty much pull back here. I think I don't know 100%. We're playing off of that 1.8 or the 8-period moving average. If we close below the 8-period moving average, we're definitely coming and testing that 20. So just kind of be ready for that. If we do sell off today, we're seeing a big increase in volume coming in, but ultimately, and then over the last few hours here, or not the few hours, but last, almost a day and a half, you can see we had a lot of demand wicks over here, but now towards the end of Wednesday, we saw them put them in. I thought we were going to push up even harder. At the end of this Wednesday, I was like, yes, look at all these demand wicks. Boom, let's go. And then just the pullback, and I was like, wah, wah, wah. Okay, so now I'm kind of just seeing what's going on here. But ultimately, I want to see this thing catch wings here and really start to hit that trend up. So that's going to be a good thing. But on the back end, we are noticing a lot of the altcoins going. We're seeing this happen. We're watching it happen. I mean, it's pretty dope. And the cool thing behind it is it's coming with good volume. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm using Crow here, but this is very similar to all the other coins out there that are starting to go, right? We're seeing it close higher and higher, right? And we're seeing not necessarily an increase in volume, but we're seeing volume step in comparative to other days. Like, look, here are the days here, right, of the average volume. And look, we've definitely seen an increase of easily 200% of the volume over the last two weeks here that we've been talking about, right? I said I'm expecting us to start the real trend, particularly in July and August, right? And then obviously September, October, you have the huge giant candles, and then around December you see a pullback, and then into January we see another push back up, and then in February, if we are going to have a bear market, this is when we see just the big sell-off, and then it just starts to dwindle down for about 6 months, or not dwindle, it starts to fall down like a falling knife down, and then for about 2.5, 3 years we see it just bloop, 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 bloop.
I don't know. I have different views on how the market's going to shape out than the traditional Bitcoin crowd, or I should say crypto market crowd. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to follow a different pattern. It's going to break the old patterns because it's a totally different dynamic now. I mean, come on, man. With the institutions, with the big money in it now. I mean, will it follow similar stuff? Of course. But will it be the same? Like, oh, well, then Bitcoin will pump, and then altcoins, then we'll have a bear market for 4 years. It's totally going to change. I mean, there's the news today. Cantor Fitzgerald just announced that they're setting up with someone else,
Bitcoin
an entirely new company. That's and they're seeding it with $3 to $4 billion worth of Bitcoin. So it's going to start not funded with dollars. It's going to start funded with Bitcoin.
Dude, that's a fundamental change in the market.
You're right. That is exactly
okay,
right. It's a fundamental change in the market. And so when there's fundamental changes in the market, sorry, I think we got a small delay here today.
There is. Shoot.
All right, we'll work it out.
You go.
When there's a fundamental change in how companies go about things, and they say, let's try that. And it's likely to work because, this isn't, this is a longer discussion, but this isn't just some new derivative. I mean, when JP Morgan comes out with a new derivative of something, say, hey, we've got a third derivative of asphalt sales, they'll get $3 trillion market cap in it in like 2 weeks, So Bitcoin is small compared to everything else here. But JP Morgan's third derivative of asphalt sales has zero community, zero market power, zero brand, zero anything. There's no TV channels like ours talking about, well, the asphalt market's hot right now, Pedro, and JP Morgan's got a third derivative of it. But Bitcoin's like that. So when there's a fundamental change in how Wall Street responds to something small like this, it means they're planning for big things. And I think the pattern is going to be completely different. And frankly, if you look at the all-time Bitcoin chart, it's a slowing parabola. If you just, and now it's just starting to tick up a little bit again, and it's going to be a different pattern. Anyway, I went on that.
Too long. I hope you're right, because I think the bear market is a fundamental keyword, fundamental intrinsic part within it. I do. And so I think it's going to be a seller. I think that because that's what causes it to be the deflationary aspect is part of it, right? This is where we see Bitcoin step in and really get this, where the poor man can get ahead, the sell-off it can get ahead, and I think that's what this is a part.
And I agree with that, and you've explained this over and over again, Pedro, and people forget that this is the exact same thing, what I'm about to say, is that the low periods in the 1 minute chart are the same as the low periods in the 10-year chart. And if you want to go up, you got to go down. In the 10-year chart, the down is just long in days. You can pick any time frame you want. And it's got to swoon before it goes up. And that's the bear market. And there's a bear market on the 1 second chart. There's a bear market on the 1 minute chart. The bear market on the 5, 10, 1 hour, 12, or whatever, you name it. And you were the one that taught me that, by the way. And I'm just reiterating it to you. And so but it's going to be a different bear market because it's still growing now. It's growing. Before it was growing like percentage-wise much larger, right?
Right.
It went from $100 to $10,000. That's way more than it can possibly grow right now, percentage-wise. But dollar-wise, and activity level, and the amount of trillions of dollars being put into Bitcoin and crypto in general, but Bitcoin specifically, is way more than it was now. And so the sell-offs will be absorbed better. And I don't think you'll have the massive, Bitcoin dumps 90% in a month things. You'll have, Bitcoin retraces, 30% retrace, just like it does in any other time frame, and blah blah blah. Blah wah 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 wah. You know what I'm talking about.
I do. My biggest thing is this: is that when I look at BTC and I look at the intrinsic value behind it, the hashing rate. Like, people don't realize, like, what happens to Bitcoin when Bitcoin gets completely mined. It's 100 plus years, but what's going to happen? Because remember, the node providers make money on what? Mining. And then they crunch the mathematical calculations to be able to send your transaction, and they receive a reward from it, i.e. a Bitcoin or a certain amount of Bitcoin from that. And so, and after every halving,
just see the fees go up.
Well, here's the thing. You're still going to need that. And I don't think we're going to see people be okay with that. And so intrinsically, Bitcoin, and again, I love the decentralization. I love the idea behind Bitcoin with us being able to self-govern. It is not fully, and I put this in a very clear way, the person who owns the complete amount of Bitcoin, right? The consensus is based off of who owns Bitcoin. You know, the more Bitcoin you have, bigger consensus you have over the protocol within it. And so as the government starts to buy more, as big institutions start to buy more, what happens, right? They're going to go through and they're going to sit there and say in 100+ years, hey, guess what? We don't want that anymore. And the governments are going to have the power to be able to control a decentralized system, which then becomes centralized. And so this aspect of what's going to happen, it has to be intrinsic. The sell-offs have to come in, and it comes from selling off Bitcoin. But also, I think there's a mechanism in it that will cause it to sell off. There's a big enough supply of people who sit there who's saying, okay, we're seeing Bitcoin at this amount, we're going to sell off. And then we see the accumulation happen. Those people, I don't think the institutions are going to try to buy up what they sell off. I think they're going to let it sell off, and then they're going to come in and buy it at those low levels again because they want to accumulate that amount. Hence, over the next umpteen years, 30, 40 years, when it hits 1 million, 2 million, 5 million, 6 million, we may not pull back 80%, 60%, 80 to 60%. We may pull back, like you said. It will actually be a mature market. But as of right now, I don't think we're there. I don't think we're absolutely there. And I don't think the government and the institutions want to keep it at these levels. I think they wanted to see it sell off so they can buy up more Bitcoin. That's all I'm saying.
I firmly believe that they all do want to sell off, but like January 3rd.
We do.
because they've sold their commissions. They sold their positions, got their fat commissions on Wall Street, and then they want to see it sell off, get into new positions at lower price. I'm thinking as the Wall Street guy who's short-term thinking about his personal gain rather than just purely from a portfolio point of view. Anyway, for those of you watching us on Rumble, thank you very much. We screwed up the. Let me rephrase that. I screwed up the launch of the show, so there's a bunch of dead links out there. If you're watching this, please share the link for this show because the dead link got sent out on social media. I've tried to correct it. That doesn't always get corrected for everybody's feed in time to watch the show. So please share and share alike.
Please do that. It does help us out immensely. Again, we're a small show. We're just trying to get this thing going, get it popping like it's hot. And you guys can help us turn up the heat so that popcorn can pop. You like that? You like that? That's pretty dope, right?
Perhaps,
maybe just a little. Okay, next, let's pull this up and see what's going on. Now, let's pull up a couple other things I think was really interesting here is in the news. And I thought this was, so have you... Yeah, y'all heard that, right? Oh, yeah. Calculating. All right. Okay, so, wow, it literally dropped down to 3 people. How is that possible? We literally just dropped down to 3 people on Rumble. What do you have on Rumble?
4. And I'm not watching it.
And I'm 2 of them. Wow, that's a sad day. Okay, so to all 2 of you, thank you so much for watching us. If you could, again, hit that like, subscribe button. That does help us out immensely. That also helps with the algorithm immensely. Appreciate you guys for everything you guys do, by the way. Okay, so let's check this out, which I thought was really interesting news-wise. Have you been paying attention to the Coke situation with Trump?
Okay. like drinking Coke or Koch brothers or?
Yes, drinking Coke. So he's asking Coke to go ahead and make sugar. Like in America, like in a lot of places around the world, when Coke sells this product, they don't put high fructose corn syrup, but they actually put real sugar in it. We're one of the only places where they actually put in high fructose corn syrup, and it literally drops the price down by almost 80%. But then they charge us like a lot of money.
I thought RFK was getting rid of high fructose corn syrup.
Well, so the way it's actually happening is that they're putting major labels, and then they're also going to try to make other products that they sell in like Europe. Instead of just having one brand here of high fructose corn syrup, will offer additional brands. But knowing them, right, they're going to charge an additional higher amount for the more expensive products.
Right. Because
America, you can't tell somebody that they can't sell something or do something, right? It's a free market capital nation that we're part of. And so what he's doing, he's simply saying, hey, he's interacting with many of these companies and saying, hey, if you're going to do this, at least offer additional product. And so if you've noticed, many of the organic prices of things have actually been going up because they want to keep to the cheap, horrible stuff for many Americans and make a ton of money. And because we have a pretty high dollar rate, they make a pretty good penny for it. So, anyways, the reason I'm saying that is there's been a lot of other situations with Coke where, oh, show off that chest, bro. Oh yeah, make them bounce, bro.
I just realized I unbuttoned my shirt to mic up here, and I forgot to button it up, and all of a sudden the shirt started opening up and exposing my monster chest here.
I could totally tell, man. I was like, put the chesticles away, man. Look at the ripped. Sorry, peoples. This is the type of entertainment you get here. You get strippers and jokers. Hey, how you doing? You got Tom, the young, fabulous Fabio over here.
I told a guy today that he posted a picture of his trading setup, and on it he had a little knick-knack from the city of Carcassonne in France.
How'd you say that one more time?
Carcassonne.
Carcassonne. Sounds like you really enjoy saying. Sounds like you really enjoy saying Carcassonne. Sorry,
it's an old city with a wall around it, stuff like that, ancient times, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, it's a tourist spot that I went to on a high school trip a long time ago. High school took a trip from the middle of Ohio to Europe, and I said, oh yeah. He said, have you been there? I said, yeah. I was there on a high school trip in 1985. It's 40 years ago.
It's funny.
Literally 40 years ago at this time.
Wow.
I was in there 85 in June. I can't believe that. Anyway, that totally distracted me from everything.
Yes. So Coke.
Right? You aged me.
Yes. So here in America, so there's this big, huge thing right now where people are like, what's the word I want to use? They're basically saying, all right, Trump is literally making deals with companies here in America to be like, yo, can we get like real Coke, like with real sugar? Like, how hard is that? Like, can we actually do it with real sugar, like you do it in Mexico? And that now there's this like argument happening right now where they're like, what do you mean? It has sugar. And it's like, there's this debate, and it's like, why are you guys arguing over something so stupid? Like, literally, you can argue. I mean, there are other things to really argue over. And you're sitting there mocking the man because he is asking them to actually sell real sugar Coke. Real Coke.
Well, here's the tweet right here. I have been speaking to Coca-Cola about using real cane sugar in Coke in the United States, and they have agreed to do so. I'd like to thank all those in authority at Coca-Cola. This will be a very good move. And Coke said, by the way, they said, we'll phase it in by the year 3029. Anyway, so that's good, but they really need to do They need to get rid of high fructose corn syrup. I actually have tried to avoid foods and things with that in it, but it's so hard. It's so difficult.
It's really hard. Like, you literally have to just eat like meat, eggs, hard fruit. Like stay on the outside of the.
All right, we don't want to get you in the
store.
food track. We'll be here for an hour and a half talking about nothing.
Listen, man, what do you mean nothing? I'm giving people
nothing related to what we do here.
I know. I feel you. No worries. Just playing. All right. So I'm looking at a few of these other things that I really, really like when it comes to the market. But I want to go over some news here just so we can kind of parlay that here real quick. And I don't understand why it's not pulling up. As you can tell, I'm trying to stall here because I'm waiting for all my stuff.
Here's the article regarding Cantor Fitzgerald, Cantor and Adam Black, who for some reason I don't know, I don't know why I don't know the name Adam Black, are teaming up to form a new Bitcoin treasury company. They say, all right, Saylor's got a big head start on us. This aerospace engineering guy's kicking our butts. We might as well get involved on this too. They're making a big Bitcoin treasury firm to the tune of $3.5 billion, and it's just going to go public. It's just the Bitcoin Standard Treasury Company will go public with more than 30,000 Bitcoins on hand after a business combination with Cantor Equity Partners, and will open with more than $1.5 billion in PIPE financing on top of a balance sheet of 30,000 Bitcoin. Man, these numbers I just can't even comprehend. It just
they boggle your mind, the amount of money that they actually have.
Yeah. That's what I wanted. This is the key part here, right here, is that the people that run Cantor Fitzgerald, the head of Cantor Fitzgerald and the guy that grew it from a multi-million-dollar company to a multi-billion-dollar company is none other than the United States Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick. And guess who runs Cantor Fitzgerald now? Yeah, that's right. His two sons now, Brandon, and I can't remember his other son's name.
I don't think there's any form of, impropriety there.
No, I'm not suggesting impropriety. I'm suggesting that people know where the economy's going. They know that Bitcoin is important. And they've got a connection with the government. They know what the government's focus is on is going to be the next 3.5 years. They know where people like us and the market is going, that type of stuff. And so they say these are going to be products that people want. They also see Michael Saylor's company, worth $100 quadrillion dollars. And they say, we want some of that pie too. And they're like, well, if his company's worth whatever this market cap is, I don't know what Saylor's market cap or Strategy's market cap is, but I'm sure someone will tell us here in a minute. Then ours can be that too, or better, or at least a small percentage. And we've just created, something out of nothing at the company. Imagine having this little division, Pedro. You're like, it's the guys over there in the third floor. They work on this Bitcoin thing stuff. Yeah, I know, but we're doing this mortgage-backed security stuff. And making all the fat bank. And then just only a couple of years later, the whole dynamic's changed. The mortgage-backed securities guys are out. Bitcoin guys are up, and their little division is now a $3.5 billion funded company, which when it goes public, it'll probably be a $20 billion company. That's the amazing thing about that article. And that's how you're going to see Wall Street change. Just like that. When the tiny little divisions that everybody ignored, not ignored, but didn't give much deference to while Mr. Biden was the president. Now Mr. Trump's the president, and these things are worth billions. And if you could say there's one person's had, who's the one person that's had the largest impact on the crypto market? Other than the people that invented it. You got it past the invention stage. And all the early adopters are like, well, Jimmy was in on it early and stuff like that. And he had a big influence because he recoded the node process. None of that. Mr. Trump has had the most direct impact on the growth of this in only a few months. And And the story is the prime example of it. Billions and billions of dollars are flowing into companies that are going to be supporting and investing the Bitcoin economy, stuff like that. So you can't argue with that. Just cannot.
Yep.
All right, everybody. We got a couple more viewers out there, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, if you're watching on Rumble, you do not need to pay to have an account. You can sign up and follow us very easily here. You can click the register button and use your Google login, use your Facebook login, use your mom's password or something like that, and you don't have to pay. If you'd like to join Rumble Premium, there's a link down there to do that, and that would benefit Pedro and I. And you'll get access to premium content, which we haven't done yet this month, which we need to do. And you can also help us get towards our creator goal. We need 20 unique chatters. We only have 10 so far this month. We need 20. We need 10 more of you in about 13 days, 14 days. So we know we can do it.
Yep. So real interesting. There's been some interesting stuff happening with a lot of the influencers. There is this crazy situation of a influencer who basically got caught fighting in an elevator in Miami, and it was absolutely nuts. And so I was thinking, what I think also those major influencers in crypto are definitely going to have to start picking up their ability to be able to really handle themselves really well. Like, what are you talking about, Pedro?
Yeah, I don't know what the hell that was. A crypto influencer was busted in an elevator getting the coochie with some girl, I'm guessing, is the secret code that you...
No. I guess they got in an argument and they were fighting and stuff like that, but...
the opposite.
Yeah, the opposite of it. But it was real interesting. Let me ask you a quick question about institutions really getting involved. Now, obviously, we know that crypto has a intrinsic value to it that basically relies more on tech, right? And it's the belief that it is good, right? Because you really can sit there and say to Bitcoin, this is all that you're going to be able to mine, and it has a finite system. My question is, do you think in the future, are we going to be able to keep this going? Like, is there enough Satoshi as it keeps going? And this idea of being able to transact business from, because as the population grows, so does the transaction speeds that we need to have within the infrastructure for transaction business. Do you think crypto and Bitcoin can actually manage a binary planet system, right? Of sending money from, let's say, 20 years, 30 years. And this sounds absolutely bonkers, but us actually creating a civilization on Mars. Do you think crypto could be able to handle that?
Absolutely. Absolutely, and there is issues with time delay between Mars or between anywhere in space where the speed of light matters. But I don't think that's a problem with blockchain. There'll be certain blockchains that the time difference between Mars is anywhere between 10 minutes and 20 minutes or something like that, depending on where we are in the orbits. And so they'll pick a coins or whatever, and there'll be a bridge blockchain between the two that has a 20-minute settlement time. And so you won't be moving money that fast between the places because you can't validate it that fast. But you can have, a layer 0 chain. You can have a layer 0 chain that handles that for you. And you just, and you have your ecosystem on the US or on the Earth. You have your ecosystem on Mars or the Moon even, because the Moon has a 3.5 second round trip, I think. And so the something like Ethereum and Bitcoin could actually work fine on the moon because the blocks are long enough. But the faster chains like Solana and stuff wouldn't work. So you just have a layer 0 settlement chain that works, and as long as the economy knows that, that's how it works. I think it'll be fine.
I think so. I just don't know if we're going to be able to get to that point, though. And so,
well, we got to get people on Mars first. Then you worry about that shit.
Yeah. I don't know. With what we're seeing with just the world and the tension of it. I was listening to the Diary of a CEO. I think the guy's name is Trevor. No, it's not Trevor. It's something else. The reason I bring that up is the guy that he had on was Eric Weinstein. Did you know who he is? He's the physicist. He's been on Joe Rogan, and he's the guy who said,
I know who he is.
Okay. All right, so he goes in and he starts talking about how, he's like, when I grew up in the Cold War era. Like you didn't know if we were going to be here into next week. So he goes in and starts talking about how every 2 to 3 months there was something popping, and it happened for 10, 15 years straight, and the world was just so exhausted, and especially when you look at Russia, it finally fell apart and kind of had this era of finally just peace. He goes, but here's the thing. We just had Russia. Now we have China, Russia. We have the situation going on with BRICS. And he actually really kind of talked about dude, then we also have this new technology called AI. And just hearing him, I was like, you walk away going I'm not depressed about life. But it's like when you go to another country and you look around and you see just real poverty, not like our poverty here in America, where bums or when I say homeless people, they can go and get at least 1 to 2 square meals a day. They can go into a place, shower up, right? And they can even somehow find a way to get on some type of social security or mental illness situation, right? And yeah, they may be living on the street, but it's not dirt. They sleep on concrete, right? They can get underneath a bridge or whatever, right? And whereas in other countries, there's none of that. There's if you're poor, you build a shanty, and it's and you're dealing your closest companions are rats who snuggle up close to you so you can keep warm, right? It's real. And it's that idea after you said that reality shake of you have that reality of wow, this is what poverty is. This is what the majority of the world's poor people live in. After that video that I watched, I was literally it was just one of those moments. It was wow, that's really where we're at right now. This is really where we're at. We're at digital currency. We're at the majority of the world, smoking weed, being crazy. We have people literally it's just nuts, man. It's just nuts. And compared to 20 years ago, 15 years ago, it wasn't that. The fact that people have to sit there and say, I think I'm a boy. And we all have to walk around that when they're a girl. Or if a girl says, you know what, I think I might be a fairy.
Retarded.
But I just think
Sorry, did I step on your statement there?
No. But I just think it's interesting where we're sitting there. And also, more importantly, watching what is actually happening in the world and just seeing it just keep escalating out of craziness. And I just, I don't know how to deal with that except for just say, okay, this is part of the world we're in.
Part of the world we are in. All right, ladies and gentlemen, all week it's crypto week here. Hold on, why is this blank? There we go. All week it's crypto week in the great country of the United States. The United States House of Representatives has very, very graciously declared that it was Crypto Week, and we've been talking about it all week. The three major bills that have combined kind of into one set for passage this week, hopefully. The Genius Act relating to stablecoins. The Clarity Act relating to who gets to regulate what, SEC versus CFTC, and what needs to be regulated and what doesn't need to be regulated at all. And lastly, we have the anti-CBDC bill, the bill that says we don't want the United States government or any entity thereof or in our jurisdiction providing for a central bank digital currency that performs the functions of, monitoring us, has the capability to monitor us. And the bill's called the Anti-CBDC State Surveillance Act. And what people don't want, including me, including Pedro, and everyone in the community that understands it, is we don't want the government centrally controlling your money and having a ledger, just like Ripple's ledger or, Ethereum or any token that you deal with. In which it's just a centralized ledger with wallet addresses on it. The money isn't like some over there and that bank over there and over here and decentralized. It's all in one computer. And one guy gets to press the button on who gets the money or not. And many people don't understand it. They're like, oh, whatever. It's just a way to move money around and stuff like that. And the answer to that is no. And I'll get more into that in a second as I do my little spiel about what's going on here. But anyway, the bill is designed, it's House Bill 1919, designed to prohibit the Federal Reserve from issuing any CBDCs and to restrict any related activities. Prohibition against direct issuance. The bill amends the Federal Reserve Act to say you can't do any CBDC or similar digital asset. There's a lot of them say it's not a CBDC, it's a CBDQ. So they say, or anything similar. And they also say the Federal Policy and the Open Market Committee are barred from using a CBDC or any similar digital asset to implement monetary policy, meaning that they have to stick to the dollar. And if they want to print more money or ease or tighten their belts or whatever it is, they need to stay with the dollar to do it and not do it via another way. And remember, these are all things, even if it passes, these are things that another Congress could overturn in the future. But it prohibits them from developing and testing it. So all of Ripple's efforts at lobbying the U.S. government just went in the tank if this thing passes. For the U.S. adopting something like that, obviously Ripple gets the benefits of stablecoin validation for the RLPL CQTBQ USD stablecoin that they put out.
How was that one more time?
I won't be able to repeat that. But anyway, and it also has privacy protections. The bill specifies that restrictions do not apply to dollar-denominated currencies that are open, permissionless, private, and preserve the privacy protections of U.S. coins and physical currency. Let's see, where is it in the status? The bill was introduced on March 6th, yada, yada, yada. The State Surveillance Act was legislative package dubbed Crypto Week, yada, yada. I just mentioned that. Where is that sentence I wanted to read? Republicans, mainly from the Freedom Caucus, demanded stronger anti-CBDC language and expressed concerns about the potential overlaps with the Genius Act. On July 15th, President Trump met with the dissenting Republicans, resolving the dispute with 11 of the 12 holdouts agreeing to support the package. A new procedural vote was scheduled for July 16th. And that did happen. Happened during our show yesterday.
Yes, it did.
And it says it moved to debate status or something like that. The bill remains under consideration in the House, but the vote on it has not been put up yet. But it's expected to be this week, and there's only today and tomorrow left in this week. So, but it's entirely, knowing the House, it's entirely possible it will go off for a day. But Pedro, we harp on the troubles of a central bank digital currency a lot here, and I'm just going to rehash some of them. Is if you have in your bank account $10,000 at a bank, and the government's running short on money, can they just come to your bank and say, give me 10% of Pedro's money?
No, they cannot.
No, they can't do that. Now, if they have a central bank digital currency, which they control, the Fed goes to do its bond offerings and stuff like that, or work with the Treasury on funding the government, and they come up short. They're like, we need $100 billion tomorrow, or we default on our debt. But nobody wants to buy the bonds. Where can they go to get that money then?
I think they can come into my bank account and take it, can't they?
Or your CBDC account. They can just go, they could just write a SQL script, take 10% out of every account, boop. And they've done that. And does anybody want that? No, of course not. Now, does anybody want somebody who controls?
And they've done that before? They've done that before? Tell me when they've done that before.
Well, they did it with gold. They said, we want to take your gold.
Yes, they did.
And the other time they kind of did that, it's more of an analogy rather than similar, is when they passed the income tax amendment to the Constitution to allow the government to directly tax, the federal government to directly tax you.
Which was not constitutional.
Right.
At any period in time,
pass a law.
Right. At any period in time, we can push that as the United States citizen, i.e. all of us saying, enough with this BS, this is unconstitutional, and we can take it to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court would sit there and side on our side, sit there saying taxes are unconstitutional. I'm just saying.
No, but I mean, what was it, the 18th Amendment or 17th Amendment to the Constitution that made taxes legal? But they would just say this is another tax. But that's not the point. They could take the money out and just put an IOU in there. Give you some shit but in you token. Is the same way. But if the government can also, instead of just take your money, if a central bank digital currency, I shouldn't say the government. I can say a central entity or any government. They could also say, all right, well, because you have to use this CBDC to pay your bills, and we need some good credit for the government here because it's voting time. Every time you use it at a gas pump or a food store, you'll get $1.25 credit. And so you'll get 25% more for your money. And then if they say, oh, anytime you buy a car made in China or a firearm or foods that contain high fructose corn syrup, you only get 85 cents on your dollar. They can do that. They can program. It's called programmable money. And we've even seen the guy, the Mexican gentleman who's the head of the Bank of International Settlements, come out and talk about the benefits of programmable money, in which he said we can control down to the last transaction as a central bank everything that goes on, and we can assign benefits to certain type of transactions and discourage other types by playing with the value of it. And the world went like this. Yawn. A bunch of us, like me and you, especially me, I was like, are you crazy? And the Twitter sphere erupted, but the news media just ignored it. They're like, even CNBC, I watched it for hours after that statement came out. They didn't even mention it. And I'm like, I was like, what? Maybe they just don't take that guy seriously. I don't know. But all the central banks in the world report to another central bank. Because all the money clears through a central bank and blah, blah, blah between countries. And the head guy that runs it, thankfully he's retiring this year. He may have already retired. Just came out and said, yeah, we want to be able to program your money. So thus you have a bill like this in the US saying our central bank will never be allowed to do that. So ladies and gentlemen, this week is Crypto Week in Congress. Call your congressman, write him, smoke signals, email him. Find out where his crypto wallet is and send him an NFT that says, vote for this act. Obviously you have to send him a worthless NFT because otherwise you have to make a donation statement. But let them know, him or her, whoever it is, that this is really important. Getting all these bills passed is important before it becomes an election issue for the Democrats next year. Because Pedro, as much as we love what's going on, something bad's going to happen, and right before your good thing always happens, something bad happens. Like there'll be a mass murder and the guy will have funded it with, bought guns with Bitcoin or something like that. And Elizabeth Warren will be out there, see, I told you, it's Bitcoin's fault. And so we need to get these bills passed. We need to get the economy going, the crypto economy going legitimately here in the US. And it needs to happen forthwith because the money's coming. We see the announcements, the news story we're just talking about, Cantor Fitzgerald, another Bitcoin treasury. All these things need these acts to pass to truly have a regulated level playing field. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's all on my talk about Crypto Week and the 3 bills. Remember the Genius Act, stablecoins, Clarity Act, who gets to enforce what? The SEC, securities, the FTC, tradable products on exchanges, and of course the Anti-State Surveillance and No CBDC Act form the 3 major bills of Crypto Week. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Back to the show.
Also, because of and I thought this was really cool, back to the show and the news. What I thought was really interesting is, and part of the bill within Congress is that mortgage companies or banks, lending companies will have to consider crypto as real holdings.
Right.
And so
it's treated as an asset just like dollars.
So you can sit there. So if you have $100 million or $100,000 worth in crypto, you could get a down payment on a house. Right.
And you can borrow it. You can borrow it against it in the private market.
Mm-hmm. Which is going to be absolutely. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm having trouble with this little slight delay we have, Pedro.
All right.
But I just thought this was an excellent play on the government's part. It's one of those times when you go, well played, sir, well played. Because there's a lot of people, even though we talk about it all the time, and one of our past sponsors was a tax consultant, that you suck it up, pay your taxes on this stuff while the prices are low. Make sure you don't get hooked up by the IRS on it, this type of stuff. And there's still a lot of people out there that have big fat Bitcoin wallets that it's off their records. And you don't hear people bragging about it in public anymore, but you still kind of get, people still kind of give it away. Like, oh, that's a hard cold wallet that nobody knows about, or hot wallet, or, cold wallet, something like that. And you're like, yeah, they're going to find you eventually. But this, by saying you can use this money as a legal asset for mortgages and other, security-backed things like that, it forces people to declare all that. So suddenly, if you've got 250,000 or 500,000 in Bitcoin and Ethereum that you bought 10 years ago for nothing, and it's sitting in a wallet and you've never checked that box on your form saying you own crypto, all of a sudden you're going to have to do that and bring that into the taxable fold here, which is ultimately A, the right thing to do, and B, what the government wants. They want people to pay their taxes properly. And so by getting it to be officially used for purposes like that, people will have to say, all right, I have this money, and then they'll have to declare it. I just thought about that. That was like, well
but
played,
you also
sir.
know what's going to happen, right? You also know what's going to happen after that, right? So they don't have $30,000 to pay on that $100,000. So what are they going to do? They have to liquidate it.
Yeah, well, they said, well, it'll be a long-term capital gain. They'll refile their taxes from the past few years and amend it.
What I'm trying to say is, then you have to sell again because you have to pay for that. So you're gonna have to pay for the whole entire $100,000 by literally going through and selling off 30,000 of your amount.
No, because the long-term, it would be a long-term gain, and the long-term gains or capital gains are what, 15% now?
No, they're 20. It's 20 and 40. It's 20% for long-term and 40% I believe short-term. And depending on where it sits at, as part of your profit.
It depends on where your income too, because it's not 40% for me. I can tell you that.
Yeah, well, it also depends on your income, but it's one of those things. I feel like this just very much frustrates me with some of the stuff that's happening in it. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, I know that crypto has to become mainstream, but I don't like the way that we're doing it. I think what we could have done is literally grandfathered everybody in who has it, and from this certain period in time, you go through and say, okay, from this moment on, you're not. From this moment on, you have to pay taxes from here. But from this moment on back, because we ourselves did not go through. It's almost like with the internet. you were able to buy so much stuff on the internet when the internet first came out, but they didn't sit there and go through and say, hey, you need to now go pay taxes on that stuff. What they did was they said, from this moment on, you pay taxes from this point moving forward. And I feel like that's what needs to happen. I feel like that's exactly what needs to happen with crypto.
That has been done in other things too. You know, that's been when other markets, the IRS or the government has come out and said, all right, we need to do that. Chicago just did that with past parking tickets and things like, and registry, if you registered your car late and stuff like that. They had a big amnesty program. They said, all right, you know, everyone that didn't register their cars the past few years, forget it. We're not going to try and collect those anymore. It costs too much money for us to do it. But going forward, you either register your car or we're not going to let you register your car. And when you get caught, your car's going to get impounded. And that's what they need to do with Bitcoin. Say, all right, we'll forgive the past, but we're going to make it harsher if you keep lying to us.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like if there's that, I think that needs to happen, simply because if you don't, you are going to see a sell-off of digital assets. And that might be the very thing that causes it to sell off. I mean, imagine if 30-40% of Bitcoin just literally just left and sold off in the market.
Yeah, but it would never be that much. Remember, it would happen over a period of a year. There would be plenty of buyers for that stuff. The larger people would sell it OTC. You know, there'd be all sorts of. I don't think it would hurt that much.
I think it very much would hurt. I don't think that's what's going to happen, because things don't happen orderly like that in the first place.
In crypto, sure, they're always orderly.
Like, that's just what I'm trying to say. It's who's the first one through that door, right? That's really where it comes down to. And we see that a lot of times in crypto. It's that people are thinking, forget this guy. I want to make sure I secure my bag with real income. And we've seen that so many times. I mean, like multiple times. So this is where I think it's interesting. On another side note here, Congressman Brad Sherman, if you are a part of him, I forget where he is, where his representative is, or where his what's the word am I trying to use? Where he is a representative from. But he says that Bitcoin and crypto is the perfect tool for drug dealers and tax evaders, which I disagree 100%, because you can see roughly where it's at. And so if you're trying to transact in, I don't know, crypto, and there's drugs involved, it's a lot easier to do it literally with cash than it is to do it with crypto.
Pedro, I'm going to put a picture on the screen, and instantly you'll know why this guy's an idiot. He's 300 years old. He colors his hair brown. And so he's from Sherman Oaks, California. He's been in Congress forever. And if he's saying it's the perfect tool for criminals, that means he's got some old guy that's his policy advisor that dug up some Elizabeth Warren position piece from 5 years ago or whatever, and hasn't read that, hey, it's a blockchain. All of the transactions are ultimately traceable. And even those wallets that have never interacted with anything, eventually they're going to want to get paid, and they will interact with someone, and the government will be like Dave Chappelle saying, "Gotcha, bitches!"
Well, another congressman, Dusty Johnson, talk about a porn name. Sorry. No disrespect to Mr. Congressman. But Dusty Johnson, congressman, says blockchain technology will transform every industry in the same way the internet has done over the last 30 years. So Dusty Johnson, I agree with you 100%. Absolutely. Then Brad Sherman, Congressman Brad Sherman, says the Crypto Genius Act is an attack on working families.
What?
I'm not joking. It's literally what they're arguing in Congress right now.
Please send me these links.
I shall away.
All right, here is here is Dusty Johnson, a younger gentleman, probably looks to appear to be a little bit younger than me. Kind of looks like Dave Letterman.
He does.
And he seems to have it together. He even stands for the Second Amendment. I like this guy. He must be from South Dakota, 'cause he's got the president's faces, Mount Rushmore on his.
He could also be. I mean, we might like him because he agrees with us. So.
Because.
Nobody is smarter than the man who agrees with you.
Agrees with you, right?
You know, can't help that. That you talk about a bias that just runs down into your DNA. That one right there does. I mean, it's just part of how we are as a people. But
anyway, welcome to everyone watching us on Rumble. Right now, we're talking about the various comings and goings with the crypto bills in Washington, D.C., and comparing one legislator, and Congressman Brad Sherman here, who said that all crypto is basically evil and used for terrorism. And it's a secret thing that drug dealers use and nobody
tax
else
evaders.
Right.
Go ahead.
And then we have another congressman who's like, yeah, blockchain's going to transform the industry and digital assets are the future and blah, 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 blah. And so two different people. One is, Pedro, if you can imagine it, one is a super old guy and one is a younger guy that's well-educated on modern concepts.
Oh my goodness. Shocking. Sorry. I had to do it. Got to give the old face.
The old face.
Yes. But on the other end, what I think was really interesting is actually hearing these people talk, because obviously they're going to become educated down the road. I mean, you're not going to be able to live underneath a rock here anymore. You know, it's becoming a part of our life, and they'll sit there and look back and go, "Holy dear God, dude, I sound like an idiot." Like, you know what I'm saying? They're going to have to pull the diamond and go, "I was wrong." Like, you know, like, you're like, my bad. My daughter actually owns it, so hey, it's good. Don't worry about it. You know, like.
I mean, remember, many moons ago, Mr. Trump,
yeah.
Bitcoin a scam because it's a scam. And in 2016, I can see many people thinking that. They didn't know how blockchain worked. They didn't know. They thought it was just all, you know, a Ponzi scheme type stuff that basically you robbed Peter to pay Paul. And, you know, very few people understood that it was, you know, an actual investment. And so you can see that, someone reacting like that.
It's not an investment, it's a technology.
No, I meant Bitcoin, not blockchain.
It's all right.
Bitcoin is the car on the road. Blockchain is how the asphalt is made up.
Dude, that's actually a really good analogy. I'm
Right.
stealing that. That's actually a really good analogy.
Because the road can carry many different types of products based on blockchain. And nobody, like, and just, you know, we used this, you know, in an entertaining way yesterday about how the road is made. But in the future, and it's already getting that way, nobody's going to care about blockchain except the people in the infrastructure business of moving money around. Because there'll be so many different ones, just like there's 20,000 different grades of asphalt, depending on where your road is in the world, right, or its usage. You know, the same with blockchains. There's going to be a ton of different ones because people say, well, that one doesn't work right for this one, what I need to use it for. And the other one's going to say, yeah, I'm going to use that one, that one. But you and I aren't going to care. We just want to know that our money went from A. Yeah, we're going to go from A to B, and we can get there. Just like, you know, roads in Germany are different than roads here. They use a different asphalt composition. In Canada, they're different than Florida because they use a different asphalt composition. Same with blockchain and that type of stuff.
I agree.
Pedro,
I think it's. Go ahead.
I just launched BNB on the. I've been cycling as we talk. I cycle through the graphics, the prices, BNB's at $716 now.
Yeah, pump.
And I'm about to put something up here. It's going to make me shiver.
Shiver, shiver, shiver.
Ripple also had a pretty damn good pump.
Yeah, I didn't want to go over that because I'm actually very frustrated with it. But that's why I didn't really. There's so many things that get just. No, I never bought any. I refuse to buy this.
Oh, okay.
I
don't own any. I haven't owned XRP since the Robinhood toilet investing days.
No, I don't. I just don't. But I just don't want them to excel. But they are pushing, and so it. Like a lot of these, actually, that's what we were gonna do. I was trying to remember what we were gonna do today. Forgive me, my peoples, my good old friends. Hey, good morning. Let us know where you'd like to meet. The old. Real quick, this is gonna be a side note. Where do we want to meet with JBees? I know.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Pedro and I just had to talk about an appointment we have later there, so I put it on mute for just a minute there. Welcome everybody joining us again on Rumble, as I periodically do during the show. If you could, please like and follow us. As I say, we're not just trying to boost likes and follows because of egos or anything like that. We want you guys to tell the algorithm Rumble uses that something good is going on here, and by clicking those buttons, you do that. And if you're not a subscriber, please do. If you're not signed up for Rumble, please do. It's really easy. You don't have to pay. Just sign up. And you'll get notifications from us like, hey, Tom and Pedro are live. Come watch.
Are live.
Then you'll notice we're an interactive show.
We very much are. Let's go, Cardano. Come on, Cardano.
Today.
Cardano is pumping. All of them. Everything's pumping right now. Like I said, we are going to see. The only thing that's not pumping is BTC, and BTC is chilling, which is cool. When it comes to Ethereum is already at a 3,500. Yesterday, it pumped hard. Look at that, dude. It went from 3,100 to 3,400 yesterday, and we peaked above 3,480 today. So it's really getting going here. We're watching. Like I said, we are watching the bull run happen here in altcoins. Many of you guys who've been watching us, I've been saying now for the last few weeks, look, it's time. It's time. Like this is, us buying in at these lows, right? We should see this thing starting to pump hard. I've gone through a lot of the Telegram groups that I'm in. I'm like, hey, look, we should be seeing some pumpage here now, really get going here. Because we're in the last 6 months of the year. Typically, this is when you see the move happen. And sure enough, this is what we're seeing. So yeah, I'm excited. Litecoin is also starting to get going. But the Litecoin didn't come down to exactly where I wanted it to go to. So I kind of just didn't really buy much of it. Shiba Inu is still hitting that 200 period moving average, but we're not seeing a major sell up on SHIB. So probably within this week, we'll see it clean above the 200 period moving average for this week, which will then give us some running room to get up all the way up to the the weekly 100 period moving average. And so getting up to that 0.6 or 0.416 area is definitely the area that I'm expecting SHIB to get up to here. And then we'll see another pullback and then fight through those SMAs and then get back up again into next month. And so I'm kind of excited about all of this movement happening right now within SHIB and a lot of these other markets. Let's go ahead and look at some of our nope. There we go. That's what we're gonna do. Plum. Let's check out Plum here, how it's doing.
Was it in the library with a lead pipe by Professor Plum? Or did you go to the water park and ride the... Oh, that's the flume. The plume, not plum.
The plume. Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's
the plume. Mr. Plume. Alrighty.
Screwed this up royally here.
How did you screw it up?
Oh, my multiple monitors thing, I got them out of whack, so when you move the mouse sideways, it appears up here on the other one.
I got you. Okay. So Plume is starting to see it get going again. We're seeing it pick up. We consolidated here. I thought we were going to see it come down here into this level, but we did not. So we're starting to see it kind of pick up at these levels last few days. We went over this last week around this time. And so it's just kind of consolidated here. And the sellers stepped in, tried to push it down. They could not push it down. It was rejected. And then the buyers stepped in, and you can see that the buyers are pushing it up. So I'm expecting us to get up. So this would be kind of a good area for you guys to start to buy in on Plume. And I'm definitely looking at it. This 13-cent area, we should get up to here. So we could see this thing go up probably 20% here real quick. So this, if they have anything really going on it, that's one of those things we want to check out. We have Vanna. We're going to check out Vanna here real quick. Van. Turkish lira, USD, Vanna. Similar to what we're seeing with Plume. It's starting to get going. We saw it try to push up, got rejected a little, but you can see that the volume here is kind of dying off, but it's still staying steady above that 8 periods. That's why I'm looking more for it to go up, for that to actually happen here. As everything starts to rise, we'll see these also rise when you come into a lot of these smaller places. Check out Kaya, I believe is how you say it.
Oh, we got the wizard on TV right now, Pedro, in the lower corner. We got Elizabeth Warren's up there saying that she doesn't want these bills to pass for crypto because they're too weak. And she's
one more twist, and that is the Clarity bill has all those problems, but it also has a provision in it that would let any company listed on the New York Stock Exchange opt out of SEC regulation by just digitizing themselves, put themselves on the blockchain, and all of a sudden it turns out that Amazon or Meta or General Motors is no longer governed.
Fat. It's popping like it's hot, dude. It really is. World Indices, boom.
I'm sorry, I was listening to Pocahontas there for a minute. Who do you got, Kaya?
Yeah. Kaya showing some major strength here over the last few days. You can see here, big volume coming in. And most importantly, you can see right here that there's really nothing kind of in the way here for it to kind of push up. What I like about it is that when you look at all the time frames, it's above all the moving averages. So it's really just kind of prime for it to kind of go back up here and potentially get back up to its all-time high of that 45. Really, because from there's nothing really sitting here, nothing really sitting here. This is prime to get to that 44 or 42 area and sitting at that 15 cents. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Let's check out NEAR, NEAR. We've had NEAR a couple times. US dollar bill, y'all. NEAR is picking up as well. You can see here a lot of that volume coming in, starting to pick up. We're already seeing it staying above the 8-period moving average, holding tight. You can see here we do have the 50. We do have the 200-period moving average here, but it's losing it's slowing down here. I'll just put it like that. It's not steepening. So I'm expecting us to see us get above this 200 period. Obviously, you're going to have a pullback at some point with it. It'll hit it, come back down, hit it, come back down, and then go through it as we speed up and really get going. Now, near high is $20, and it's sitting around $2 here. So you have a potential 10x here that you could play. We're just starting to get going. You can see we're about halfway through the month here, and you can see that the volume on the monthly chart here is about the same. So you can already expect that we'll probably have double volume, if not triple volume, as this gets going into this month. We have the 8 period sitting here, but it will play it, we'll come back down, and we'll go back up on this one. So it just depends. If we go up higher on near and we close green on near, then expect August for us to get up to that $4, if not $6 area on near. And so you could play that. So if you want to use, I mean, I know if I was going to play this, I would play this on a futures platform to be able to play that. Give me 1 second.
Pedro, while you're drawing that your lines on your chart, I think I need to get some more coffee here.
Oh, nice.
In fact, I forgot my mug entirely here, so I'm not actually drinking any, but I know someone who can fix that, and that's 1775 Coffee. If you still haven't tried 1775 Coffee, now is your shot. The 1775 starter kit has just dropped. Only 1,000 units. That's right, baby. Maybe, I don't know who that is. That's right, everyone, 1,000 units. Scarce, just like Bitcoin. With this kit, you're gonna get 3 different types of coffee. You're getting the bold, dark roast that hits harder than a CNN fact-checked. You're getting the smooth, medium roast, and you're also getting the Vitality Mushroom Coffee for a clean energy and laser focus. No crash. All single origin, small batch, toxin-free, and mold-free. Plus, you're getting a gold spoon clip because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. No, it's not, ladies and gentlemen. Other benefits, you're gonna get a frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's political opinions. Maybe you want that, maybe you don't. In my case, it's a good thing. It's a good discussion. In other households, it's like Thanksgiving when you get Cousin Jimmy out and he won't shut his mouth. What do you get for this? You also get a black 1775 tumbler that says, "I don't take life advice from a woke sea witch." Pedro, I know they wanted to use the B word there and not the W word, but don't want to take life advice or caffeine from a woke sea witch. $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for $99. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 Coffee blow up on Rumble, wondering if it's actually worth it. Spoiler, it is. So go to 1775coffee/studio and grab your starter kit before they're gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and morning routine that stands for something just like Rumble does. Start your day with coffee that actually backs what you believe. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. 1775 Coffee, there's a QR code right here. If you're watching this show, click it. If you're watching on your big TV, hold your phone to it and go there and let our advertisers know that our audience is here and interactive. Then we'll be able to bring you more ads, which you have to watch. But Pedro and I can earn 36 cents again and make our show better. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit before they're gone.
Hey, man, you know what, bro?
Thank you to 1775 Coffee for being a segment sponsor on our show.
You know what 36 cents a day can be over a period of a year?
That can be $9,000.
36 cents over a period of every year? Given 36 cents?
You said over 1 year.
Yeah. We made 36 cents every day.
0.36 times 364. Oh, I got the math wrong on that. $131.
Exactly. We're making money, dude. We are making money. Let's go. 70s.
I didn't do the decimal place in my head, and I was like,
you're good.
Oops.
You're good. You're good. I was just trying to crack a joke here real quick. We're making money here, man. Shoot, you guys, we ballers. Shot collars, 40-inch rims. All right. What was really interesting is yesterday we saw a pickup with the VIX quite a bit, which was really interesting. I saw it pop up where I said, oh, shoot, we got about a 50 period. Are we starting to climb here? But then, no. Like that woke sea witch, it piped down. You got to pipe up. Anyways, all right. So, anyways, you can see here, we kind of saw the VIX kind of sell off. So I've been kind of watching this, making sure that things don't get crazy. And really, we're kind of, with everything that's happening in crypto and kind of the stock market and everything like that, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool things here that I like going over. Give me one second here.
And Pedro, just to remind everybody, the VIX, the volatility index, is a measure of what market's volatility? Hello?
Yes, it is prime. Well, here's the thing. So the VIX typically means that the volatility is picking up in the stock market.
Stock market.
But
that's what I
in the stock market. Yes. But here's the thing. We've watched it now multiple times also lead, because we're watching the stock market and crypto market kind of very flirt with one another here. It's showing volatility kind of in both. So I would love, this would actually be the perfect storm, the stock market to sell off, because like we've talked about how I expect the divergence of crypto and the stock market to happen, right? But what's interesting is I'm actually seeing the stock market increase in value as well. But I think there's going to be, at least for this 6 month, if things go absolutely bonkers, right, in crypto, then I think it might correlate and push up the actual, the stock market. If crypto explodes and altcoins season and everything like that, we see, it get above previous highs, and we see a double and triple X from previous highs, right? I wonder if it would actually correlate to make the stock market go up. That would be like, that's when, right, you're like, well, it could be, it could not. I think it very much could. Just because it's such the volatility. Imagine if crypto, we're sitting at, is it $5 trillion market cap right now, right? For all of crypto?
Yeah.
Okay.
Roughly. It's probably a little under that, but it's close.
All right. So the previous peak for the actual market that we saw last time around was $3 trillion. Okay, $3 trillion. So the market cap go up. We're sitting at around 4.8 trillion. Actually, I could pull it up right here, right now, on Coin Market Cap. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is, imagine if the market jumps 3x. What if we hit 3x?
I can imagine it.
Yeah, it's not hard to imagine, right? Last two bull cycles ago, we were at 1 trillion. I think it was like 800 billion, and then it went up to 3 trillion, and then now, like, it went from 1 trillion, 3 trillion, and then now we're kind of at that same level, but we're higher on a market cap wise. So imagine if it goes from 4 trillion to, shocking 10 trillion, 9 trillion, 10 trillion. And maybe at its peak, potentially 15 trillion. Within a year. Do you understand the power here? All of a sudden, our stock, that would become 1/4 of the stock market right now, because the stock market, literally, it's worth about $60 trillion. I think it's like $64 trillion or something like that. It would be 1/4. If it hit one,
but that money's got to come from somewhere. I mean, that money just can't get pulled out of our pockets and our payrolls. So
okay, so that's a great question. You know where it's going to come from? What happens when the government spends?
We owe more money on our debt.
Yes, but inflation happens to the dollar, right? That's what happens. Right. So one of the things we always go over is the dollar to crypto amount, right? Now, do you remember 5 months ago what it was at the beginning of the year?
Crypto. 7,000 to 1. I've got some numbers in my head, but I don't have them in the right order.
No, it was like 12,000. It was like 12,000, not 7,000. It was like 12,000. And you can see now it's 9,000.
Just circle that so people can see it.
Oops, sorry. Here we go. It's right here.
So for every $1 US, there was, wait, say that one logically again.
Okay, so if for every $1 you take all crypto put together, okay, and you wanted to take that $1 and buy crypto, okay, you could only buy about 12,000 crypto, whatever in general, if you put everything together for market cap comparative. Now it dropped down to 9,000. So you've literally seen, because of inflation and the US debt go up, right? It makes crypto more valuable. So when you're talking market cap, as the debt increases and as inflation increases, because they're one and the same, right? Debt comes in, we borrow money from the Fed, and then inflation happens. Follow it? They raise rates, right? It slows down inflation. But we've gone over this multiple times, how there's a lot of numbers that are being kind of faked, right? That it's like they're not talking about, right? And so on the back end, if we see more inflation, your crypto becomes more expensive, meaning it actually accrues value because it's an asset. The best thing about inflation is that when you actually have a asset that is, and this is important to understand, has a locked value, like land on an island, okay? It can't be created more. It will always go up higher than inflation. And this is why I say buy crypto, dollar cost average in crypto. And then when we see major sell-offs, we want to buy, right? Because it allows us to buy more chunks of it. Crypto is now at a point where we're seeing, I mean, within 6 months, bro, you're talking, what is that, 30% increase. We were at 12,000, it's now at 9,000. That is a
that's a lot in our terms.
25, 30%. 6 months?
Oh. Every time a siren goes by, you got to drink. I'm going to get a siren meter here. All right, sorry.
Dude, I will. It's all right. Okay, I'm drinking. God be with that person. It's their worst day wherever they're at. Keep them safe, Lord. Amen. All right, here we go. Don't drink the worm at the bottom though. Whatever you do, it always makes you choke. Okay. All right. So this right here means that we're like, your dollar, your bags are going up. Whenever we have inflation, whenever we have certain things like that, or whenever there is there's an increase to the debt limit, your assets in crypto go up because there's a limited amount. You can't just keep creating more. So this is what I like about it. So when I look at this and I see this, I'm like, this is horrible for America. I'm a US citizen. I don't want this. This is really bad. This is really, really bad. We need this thing to go up, right? This needs to go up quicker. Here's the thing. if the US assets go up, that's not going to hurt our bag right here. This is your bag in crypto. This right here. And when you see this number right here go up, go down, that is what you want. The biggest thing is what you want to see without this going up and this going up. So this goes down, this goes up. And if America starts to buy assets in crypto, well, your bag will become equal to this. And so what we want to see is this. We want to see this a 1 to 1 in crypto assets. If that happens, you and I are going to be worth a lot of money, because it's like buying, it's like, I don't know, pick a country that is just getting started. When the US, when the USSR broke apart, right? Communist Russia. And then you had all those small countries that broke apart and became on their own, right? If you would have bought their currency, right? Let's say you took your dollar,
right?
And in doing that, by you taking your dollar, you buy $10 million.
Right.
No, you buy 10 million because your dollar can buy a lot more of their currency. And all of a sudden, in 10 years or 12, how long has crypto been? 12, 15 years? I forget.
15.
Right? And then in 15 years, it goes from, a 12,000 or, I would say a million to 1, when all of a sudden it now dropped down to 9,000 to 1. Like, you're a happy camper because you're a millionaire in that country. And also you can buy a lot more in that country comparatively, because you now own that country's wealth. You can go through and do a lot with it. That's what's happening in crypto. And so as we see inflation happen, we then see our bags go up. And the fact is that we just added on $5 trillion to that debt, which is sitting at 35,000, or excuse me, 37 trillion, not 35,000, 37 trillion, which is now going to shoot it up. And mind you, like, this is the part that's so crazy. That debt hasn't necessarily even added onto it yet. It's going to be added onto it. So right. What we're seeing is literally going to be, what is that? 20% on an intrinsic value of crypto just went up. Every time we go up with that debt, our asset goes up in value. This is important. This is real important. This is why I keep saying, like, these things got to happen. Now, we can hold our value here if we can, and I have no problem accumulating at this value so we can save America. Whereas we just drop this here, get rid of this thing, stop it, right? Increase this right here. And if we increase this, which is called our GDP, guess what? Right? You still are sitting pretty in crypto, because you're still going to have the bust and booms buy. So the fluctuations in it are still good for you, because you're able to buy at a lower point. And so this is where it's just like, it's overwhelming for me sometimes, really overwhelming, to see what's actually happening, and I want to see America keep doing good. I don't want to have to go to a different place in the world every 2 months looking for kind of the best deal, right, for my currency, i.e. crypto.
You missed that, Pedro, but I'll play it for you again.
America. So this is how the Crypto Act and a financial revolution is actually taking place here. America, let's go. Definitely. We can actually check to see here real quick while we're closing up here. What's going on with the mortgage pricing, or not the mortgage pricing, but the housing
Housing pricing.
Yeah, give me a second. Home sales. There you go. I forget what it was the last time. Did we go up? Well, as of right now, we've seen housing prices drop from 440,000, the new home medium sales, from 444,000 to 224,000 here from last year. And then we're watching it, or from 2023 saw a drop. And from 2024 to 2025, we also seen it drop $3,000. So, hey, things are slowing down, definitely in the housing market as well. New existing homes, we've actually seen an increase of new existing homes. We're actually buying a little bit more. So you can see here, it's 403,000. Last year was 395,000. So it's definitely picked up there. But yeah, that's in a nutshell. If we start to see these numbers here really start to sell off, that's a bad thing. And let me see here real quick. Here we go, July. Let's check it out from last week here real quick. Boom. Yeah. Last week, our US debt clock. This is just this month already. Look at this. This is this month, bro. We were $100 billion richer last week.
Last week.
Yep. Yep. But as a group of people here in America, we did, as you can see right here, the wealth per citizen is 109, and we have gone up almost $1,000 this week per citizen. There you go. There you go. All right. All righty then. Yep. That's where we sit. Oh, this is cool, interesting. Look right here. Last week, the US dollar to crypto ratio, right? Oh, wait. Excuse me. My eyes are tripping. I'm actually tripping, dog. Like, look, all right, I get this. Holy moly, how did I miss that? I'm sitting there playing games here, and this is not even the reality. Look, the reality is this, is I didn't realize this was now. Forgive me for that. Our dollar to crypto ratio is 650 to $1.
Yeah, I thought it was.
I was like
12 to 9. I was like, I remember it being down much lower. I remember what it
right.
was. I thought it was like 7,000 to 9. Anyway,
Yeah.
Pedro, we should wrap this up here because we've got a meeting just after this that I do need a minute or two. Hey,
No, literally. Hey guys, so sorry about that. Forgive us for that. And that was my mistake, dude. I don't understand why my brain was farting there, dude. But no, look, dude, it's literally $6 to 1, 650 to 1 per crypto. That explode. That, dude, if we were to do a triple of where we're at, this would make this a 3. It'd be a 1-to-1. It would literally be a 1-to-1 ratio of the US dollar to crypto is what it would be. That's crazy.
It's super crazy.
Like if we do what we're supposed to do this bull run, we will be a 1-to-1 ratio. Yeah, because that's gonna go up 3. Yeah, 3x would be 15, and then it'll probably settle down around 10,000.
Learn math on DYOR Live.
Sorry, yeah, but it would be, there would be a point, and then the next bull run would be 25 cents to the dollar. That would be freaking, which means that the dollar is worth less than crypto. Oh, that is crazy.
All right, Pedro, I'm going to take a screenshot here. Give me a Pedro smile here. All right, now we're talking to each other like.
Actually, on time. Yes. Yeah, the whole entire show, I feel like I've interrupted you. I'm like, is he going to say something? You know, it was like.
I just wanted to get some screens. I got this screen layout I liked. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we do got to get going here today.
Thanks for being with us.
Thanks to our Rumble crew for showing up. Really appreciate it. Got one the 1775 coffee ad. Thank you to them for being a segment sponsor on our show.
Always.
Really appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow in some form or another. Right. Same bat time, same bat channel. And I'm going to skip the all gassed up, ladies and gentlemen. Just do the usual thing here and say, once again, thanks for joining, everybody. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking here in the digital media world. The man next to me in the box is Pedro Garcia, none other than the crypto chart analyst called Pedro Damas. We will be back, so be here and be there.